Hey guys, so as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be doing my labor and delivery story. But before I get into it, I'm going to do a little bit of background information because I was hospitalized before, like during my pregnancy. I did end up going to the hospital twice. So let me just say why I went. So on October 7th, I went to the hospital because I was having pain like on my back and like in my stomach, but my upper stomach, like over here. And we didn't know whether it was contractions or what it was because it was like really bad pain. Like it was like I want to say it was like cramps. Now that I know that how contractions feel like, they kind of felt like contractions, but not really. It wasn't like as hard as the contractions, but it definitely hurt. So we ended up going to the hospital and they drew some blood and they did an ultrasound on my stomach to see what it was. And it ended up turning out that my gallbladder was inflamed. The OB told me that it was normal for a pregnant woman's gallbladder to get inflamed while pregnant just because the baby is pushing upwards. I don't know. That's what he said. So I believed him, obviously, because he is a doctor and he does know way more things than me. I'm looking down my phone because I kind of wrote down like the steps. And then like the ending of the week. Okay, so I went on October 7th, right, which was a Saturday. And then I ended up going back to the hospital to the doctor to follow up on that coming up Thursday. And he basically told me like if I was feeling okay and everything. But at that time my skin was really itchy, and I did tell him my skin is like getting itchy, it's irritating me. And he drew some blood and he said that in my liver I had water, which is, I wrote down what it's called. It's called cholestasis. That's when you have water in your liver. He said that it's nothing to worry about because the numbers aren't too high. That's what he said. So, I was like, okay, And then like time passed. I want to say like 3 weeks. When I went to follow up again for another ultrasound, I told him again that my skin is like itching me and it's getting worse. And he took out blood. I had to wait another week, and again he said that my numbers are still a little bit high, but it's nothing to worry about and everything. And then on December 16th was like when I couldn't take like the itchiness anymore. So I ended up going to the hospital, and I told them. They took me up to labor and delivery and everything. They looked at me like, are you dumb? You're just coming here because your skin is itchy. But I obviously knew it wasn't normal because he already told me that my levels were a little bit high. So they drew blood. I stayed overnight and everything. And when I ended up following up with him, I want to say it was like the ending of the month. Let me see. I ended up following up with him again on January 2nd, and I told him like, I'm still itchy. This time it's my palms and the bottom of my feet. It's not normal. My palms being itchy, like I'm here scratching my palms. It's not normal. So he said, okay, we're gonna draw some blood and everything. And then they drew blood. Well, I went so they can draw blood like right away. So they drew blood, and then he called me on the 5th, which was a Friday, and basically he said, I was looking at all your blood test results, and I was noticing that every time you would come in to get your blood test, like your levels, like the cholestation levels, cholestasis, whatever it's called, those levels kept going up higher. He said that if he would have catched it sooner, that I would have had her sooner. So he said he wanted to induce me because I was already 38 weeks at this point. 39 weeks at this point. So he said that he wanted to induce me on that Sunday, which was the 7th. And he said to go in to get induced because he didn't want me to reach the 40 weeks having a high level of the fluid I had in my liver. So I went, I hear her crying. So I went in on Sunday and they induced me and everything. Okay, at first when they induced me, I didn't really feel anything. Okay, so I went in at 3 and I got admitted and everything. Like, I got hooked up to start getting contractions, well, like when they started inducing me. So it was like around 4:30 when everything was like already done and like it should already start hitting me. I didn't feel anything until like about 8, and I didn't ask for any paid medication until like 8:30. And I'm not sure what the medication was called. I just know it was like, I don't know, it was like this weird medication. And she gave me a medication. It was through my IV. So I don't know what it was. She said it should be good for 2 to 3 hours. So she gave me the medication. As soon as they gave me the medication, that medication hit me really bad. So like I felt like I was literally on like terrible drugs. Because okay, so Israel plays this game on his PS4 called Fortnite. This is gonna sound really dumb, but every time I would close my eyes, I literally felt like I was playing in the game. Like, I wasn't playing the game, I was in the game. So it was like really weird. I want to say the medication probably stopped me from feeling pain for like an hour, and then I was getting back to back contractions for another 2 hours that I felt every 2 minutes. So every 2 minutes I would get a contraction, and it was terrible. And I couldn't get my epidural until this medication that I was on wore off. That medication didn't work. I want to say, okay, it did work for an hour, but it made me feel terrible, like I was on like hard drugs. I don't know, it made me like illusion things. I didn't like it. I would totally not take it again. Like, next time I'm not gonna take the medication. I'm just gonna go straight to epidural. Okay, and then it was like, maybe I want to say almost midnight. It was like 11:45, like 11:40ish, around that time. And I couldn't take the pain, and I called the nurse and I told her the time. Can I take my epidural now? And she said yeah. So I ended up taking my epidural. Let me say something. That epidural thing hurts. I don't know, it hurt me. I didn't like it, whatever. So after my epidural, I was able to rest probably, I want to say, for like half an hour. But I was so uncomfortable. I couldn't be comfortable. Like, I couldn't feel my legs. I felt like numb basically, but my waist and everything, it hurt. Like, I kept feeling pressures, but that was obviously like the contractions. Like, it just felt like pressures, and I mean, obviously it hurt. So I was just like trying to relax a little bit. And then like around 1, it was like 1:10, I want to say, my water broke by itself. They didn't break it. And I think at that point I was like 3-4 centimeters dilated. So we waited a little bit, and then obviously hours passed, and I couldn't sleep all night. Like, I was in pain even with the epidural. Like, I thought it was gonna be like a reliever. It was for a little while, and then I started feeling uncomfortable, and I don't know, it was hard, it was painful. So it was probably like, I want to say it was like 5, and I thought like I was already fully dilated. I felt like terrible. I just wanted to get it over with and everything. I call the nurse again. She comes, she checks me. She says I'm 8 centimeters dilated. She's like, you're probably not gonna have the baby until another, I want to say 3-4 hours. It was 5, okay? So I was like, crap, like I'm gonna be feeling this pain for like another 3 or 4 hours. It's gonna be painful. I absolutely do not like this. And then Israel here is like, what can I do? He didn't know what to do. He was just laying down there, and then I kept telling him like, come, and he just wanted to be there. He said, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. I can be right next to you, but it's not gonna help. and it absolutely didn't help. He was next to me, it didn't help. I wanted him to get away from me. I didn't want him to be near me at like a certain point. Like, I just didn't want him like around me. I did have the epidural thing where it would give me more medicine, but I didn't like that like cold feeling that would run through my back, so I didn't press it. I didn't press it like near the ending. I pressed it in the beginning probably like 2-3 times, but I don't want to say I pressed it more than 5 times. So like time passed, obviously. So like she came in like at 5, so like around like 6:30 she came in to check on me again, and I was already fully dilated. Like I was already 10 centimeters dilated. I was ready. She calls the doctor, the OB. The OB doesn't get there until like 7. I want to say they said like 7. So I started pushing like around 7:10ish, and yeah, like 7:10ish. It was like 7:45, and that's when the OB finally came in. I stayed pushing again and again and again, and then it was finally 7:58 and she was finally born. It took me so many pushes to get her out, like, and it was so painful. They literally had to give me more medication so I can get harder contractions, because they said the contractions I was getting weren't strong enough to push her out. So I don't know, it hurt, it was painful. So after she was born, or when she was born, obviously they threw her on my chest. Like, I got really scared because I didn't know that when babies are born, they're born purple because they're obviously barely taking in oxygen. So she was on my chest and I'm looking at her and I'm asking, like, why is she purple? Like, I was obviously worried. Like, I thought she wasn't able to breathe properly or anything. And they obviously had to explain to me, whatever. And I had to stay on the bed. Obviously they were like pushing like my stomach to get everything out, and they had her like aside of me, like cleaning her up. Now at this point she ended up weighing 7 pounds 2 ounces. Yeah, 7 pounds 2 ounces. She was 19 inches long, and yeah, she was healthy. Well, she's still healthy, but she was born healthy. They gave her her shots, which really hurt me because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even be near her. I was still in my bed. The epidural was still wearing off. They were over there doing like their business with her, like giving her shots, cleaning her up, changing her and everything. And yeah, that's it. That's my story. A painful story. I don't know, this video might have been all over the place, but that's because I don't really know how to explain it, because I was hospitalized twice. I did go to the hospital twice. I kept telling the doctor over and over and over I was itchy, and he didn't do anything until I was, well, like, he didn't figure out anything was really wrong with me until I was 39 weeks, which is almost full term. And he said if I would have made it to full term that he doesn't know what would have happened. So I'm probably, yeah, I'm probably done with kids. I'm just saying that. Especially because after I gave birth and everything, I started getting complications, but that's gonna be another video. So I'll probably see you guys next week explaining my complications and how I did recovering and how long it took me to recover and everything. So yeah, I'll see you guys probably next week. Bye. This ain't no free throw. Got your bitch on my dick, she a freak hoe. Put with 6, I remix while she deep though. Drop the top off the whip, but bitch, this ain't a Jeep though. Fast whiz, baby. Just trapping it. You're my right hand. You're my go-to. Oh, no, no, no.